Senior Magistrate calls for review of outdated Drug Act. Concerns raised about electoral boundaries. And game fishing sees impressive catches.
This is National EMTV News with Hope Imaka.
Hello, thank you for joining me this Saturday. A senior magistrate, Pius Tapil, has called on the national government to review Dangerous Drug Act 1952 because it's outdated. Magistrate Tapil says the pre-independence legislation's maximum jail sentence of 2 years needs to be amended to suit the changing social trends in the society. This is to ensure the legislation is more relevant and consistent with the prevailing social problems associated with drug use.
Effects of drugs in Papua New Guinea are widespread and have given rise to many serious offences like manslaughter and unlawful wounding. Senior Magistrate Pius Tapil, when sentencing a 27-year-old man, Maxan Hagori, from Numbo local level government, told the Yangru South District Court that the District Development Authority has invested money to improve law and order. Hagori pleaded guilty for 2 charges: cultivation of 32 plants of dangerous drugs, marijuana, in his home and possession of marijuana box. He will serve 4 years in prison. The court noted not only a large quantity of drugs, but a cumulative sentence of 4 years to give effect to the legislation. This is to make it more relevant and consistent with the prevailing social problems associated with drug use. Magistrate Tapil said the 4 years were warranted under certain circumstances for the community's interest because the 2-year penalty is much lighter. Magistrate Tapil said Parliament, in its wisdom, must address the drug issues because this will cut down other drug-related cases. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
As the country prepares for its next national general elections in 2017, questions were raised in Parliament this week about electoral boundaries. Concerns were raised that the current boundaries were established many years ago, and since then population has increased significantly and is affecting service delivery and wealth distribution. Member for Laigam Pogera, Nixon Mangape, asked the Prime Minister why the government has not funded the Electoral Boundaries Commission.
Our National Constitution Section 1.
Laigam Pogera MP Nixon Mangape highlighted that the present electoral boundaries were old. Population has increased, placing more demands on better service delivery, equitable distribution of wealth, and fair political representation. The Electoral Boundaries Commission is the only body with the power to review electoral boundaries in Papua New Guinea.
My first question is why the government has never funded the Electoral Boundaries Commission.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said during this session of Parliament, an appropriation bill will be brought forward to cater for the funding and work of the Electoral Commissioner, especially in the preparation of the 2017 election. He said this will be presented as soon as the officials present the Commission's recommendations.
We'll present it to Parliament for its approval so we can fund them adequately so that they can prepare well for the elections in 2017.
Under Section 25 of the Constitution, the Boundaries Commission shall recommend to the Parliament the number of open electorates and their boundaries for determination by Parliament.
The government has already established the Electoral Boundaries Commission. I will again ask the Electoral Commissioner to progress the work of the electoral boundaries as quickly as possible.
Mr. O'Neill said there was a need to either increase the number of seats of MPs in Parliament or create new electorates in places that have large populations. He said the Constitution allows for up to 120 electorates to be established.
We want to see these electorates established before we go to the elections.
According to the former Electoral Commissioner, Sir Andrew Trawen, Parliament last approved the 89 open and 20 provincial electorates in February 1977.
whose boundaries have not changed since reviews were conducted in 1981, 85 to 86, 1991, and 2005. Delhi Waigeno, National MTV News.
Water Aid Country Representative Eileen Tugum has called on the national government to increase its financial support for the national wash policy goals to be achieved. And in order for the services to reach all homes by 2030, the national government must work closely with all development partners.
According to the joint monitoring program of the World Health Organization and UNICEF, 5 million people in Papua New Guinea do not have access to clean water, while 6 million to adequate sanitation.
And so that exposes them to a lot of waterborne diseases. And as a result, we find that 1,000 of children in Papua New Guinea die every year due to diarrhea because of unsafe sanitation practices.
While figures remain unacceptable, an urgent call is for the national government to take appropriate actions because this affects health, education, and the broader development aspirations. And with a national wash policy in place, the challenge is now on stakeholders to work together.
It's a very tall challenge. It's going to be very difficult. And so what we need to do is all stakeholders need to work together. We need to bring our resources together. We need to coordinate better so that we can try and achieve the goals. What we must do is at least work together to try and achieve them. We may not be able to reach them, but if we start now, we can get there.
Tugum said access to improved, safe and clean water services, including sanitation and hygiene practices, is vital for every Papua New Guinean. Fabian Hakelitz, National MTV News.
We take a short break now, but when we come back, Pope Francis condemns terrorism. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. St. Mary's Turingi Primary School in East Sepik Province has claimed the classroom built by Digicel Foundation is unsuitable for learning. While acknowledging Digicel Foundation for the infrastructure, it's very unhelpful to students as teaching and learning materials cannot be displayed.
The teachers added concerns when MTV visited the school this week. According to Felix Maki, the classrooms are not of standard to the education sector. This is because it's impossible for displaying teaching and learning materials for students.
Teachers especially and students, we teach and then we display at the same time. Whatever you miss the teaching or picking it up, you miss the displaying. So now looking at this comes from kapaya, we cream here. It's impossible for us to display anything. You put in sticky tape, but and still not come out.
Mr. Maki also claimed that another problem is failure to consider the school's geographical setting, with strong winds always experienced.
At the same time, the scoping of this area by looking at the geographical site of this place here, and then you will do more some winds are blow every time, the winds are coming so go by. And they have to come up with a good plan to working about some buildings for avoiding the geographical sites from the area.
Teachers called on Digicel Foundation to ensure building structures are appropriate that will facilitate quality teaching and learning for the benefit of students and teachers. Fabian Hakelitz, National MTV News.
Pope Francis, following the harrowing Brussels bomb attacks, has condemned the use of religion to justify acts of terrorism. The Pope says followers of religions that encourage it made a mockery of God's name.
Pope Francis delivered this message to commemorate the Passion of Christ procession around Rome's Colosseum.
E neppure alla riconciliazione
O
sacramentale.
cross of Christ, today too we see you in expressions of fundamentalism and in terrorist acts committed by followers of some religions which profane the name of God and which use the holy name to justify the unprecedented violence.
Vatican's official preacher urges people and nations not to seek revenge and to overcome evil with good.
Parole di Cristo. Padre, perdona loro perché non sanno.
No matter how far the fate of human beings can go, the love of God always has been and will be greater. In these current circumstances, Paul's exhortation is addressed to us. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Relationships or between states and nations.
Meanwhile, the Pope celebrates an Easter Eve service in the St. Peter's Basilica tonight. Melissa Goviro, MTV World News.
Kim Dong-chul, a Korean-American man detained in North Korea, has confessed to stealing military secrets and plotting with South Koreans. Kim, who has said before that he was a naturalized American citizen and was arrested in North Korea in October, was deeply apologetic for his crimes.
According to North Korea's state news agency KCNA, Kim admitted to have made contact with South Koreans to pass secret information contained in USB memory sticks and images on data storage cards that could damage the North.
I have been arrested on the spot of handing over a USB memory stick and documents containing the Republic's nuclear data and secrets.
Kim revealed that he was paid for doing it and apologized for trying to steal military and state secrets in conclusion with South Koreans.
Even if I suffered any kind of legal punishment, there are no words I can say. I admit my guilt and again, I'm sorry.
Kim, state media said, described his crime as defaming and insulting to the Republic's highest dignity and its system. He added, saying it was aimed at overthrowing the North Korean's regime. Meanwhile, North Korea is at the brink of further international isolation after the UN Security Council imposed new sanctions following its fourth nuclear test in January and a long-range rocket launch in February. Melissa Goviro, MTV World News.
You're watching National MTV News. Coming up next in Trukai Sports, highlights of game fishing. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The PNG Hunters Rugby League team has brought forward the kickoff times for two of its home matches. This is in response to concerns from supporters about security. The Hunters beat Tweedheads at the National Football Stadium in Port Moresby in the first home game of the Queensland Cup season. That match started at 6:30 p.m. but the club says they have received feedback that games finishing mid-evening are causing security concerns for supporters using public transportation to attend the games. The Townsville Blackhawks and Radcliffe Dolphins have agreed to play their upcoming matches in Port Moresby in the afternoon for a 3 p.m. kickoff. The national game fishing titles held in Rabaul has run into its 8th day with one last day to go tomorrow. Despite bad weather, the fishing boats have been setting sail as early as 6 every morning to snatch the biggest catch. Yesterday's biggest catch was a marlin weighing about 52 kilograms. Edwin Fidelis reports from Rabaul.
Good Friday's overcast gave way to a perfect Easter Saturday morning in Rabaul, to the 6 a.m. start to the proceeding of the 8th day of the 41st National Gaming Fishing title.
6 o'clock morning or come, 6 o'clock afternoon or come. Sometimes or game time long or come time straight way. All manage this like game or talk play.
The gusty weather that has dragged on since last Saturday hasn't changed, but that hasn't stopped the anglers to go fishing. Yesterday, the biggest catch was a marlin snatched by Luke Bayer of the Elva fishing boat, recorded 51.75 kilograms.
51.75. First marlin I've got a sailing before.
The national fishing title has attracted fishing boats from as far as Leigh and Port Moresby. It is one of the annual sporting events that have raised about $500,000 kina from various major sponsors. The Rabaul caldera is renowned as a rich fishing ground. Not only that, it is here that the first fishing game title was held in 1976, and after almost 40 years, this year marks a new start for anglers and skippers who have brought back the spirit of the game fishing to the place where it first started. Tomorrow will be the last day as the battle for the top place continues for the angler who comes back with the biggest catch. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV Sports, Kokopo.
Charles Kiama starts his attempt at qualifying for the Rio Olympics when he faces his Iranian opponent in the 52 division in China this afternoon. Also entering the ring for his opening 60 kg bout against an Iraq rival is Thaddeus Katua. Both are among 4 PNG boxers attending the Asian Oceania Olympic qualifiers, which began last night. Kiama enters the ring in what is his 16th international bout since making his debut in the 49 kg division at the Arafura Games in Darwin. Both boxers and their coach, Joe Alpha, did not attend the opening ceremony as they rested in preparation for today's competition. Andrew Aisaga will start his campaign on Monday against another Iranian opponent, while Jonathan Kiama has been drawn against Australian boxer Jason Daniel Lewis. In the Easter Cup Challenge in Leigh, Carl Moore defeated a helpless Ballop 3-1 after an initial short-lived demonstration of dominance by Ballop. Carl Moore's number 10, James Mossy, to an earlier Ballop goal. It was followed by number 14, James Mossy, minutes later. They came back scoring one more before the end of the game.
Ballop came onto the field hungry for action. Their lighter side looked like a force to be reckoned with. Minutes into the first half, this header marked the start of the onslaught. Or at least that's what we thought. Ballop's junior Morgan, isolated and alone, added little value to their close proximity to the goal. Carl Murray's James Mossy, determined to register a goal, missed the shot. Minutes later, the number 10 came dangerously close. Then in Ballop territory, a kick missed by Ballop proved costly. Carl Murray equalized. Carl Murray drove the ball close to the Ballop goalmouth, but the opportunity was again wasted. The supporters yelled their disappointment. Then past the centre, Carl Murray's Terry Tommy, making Ballop's climb to victory even steeper with this one. An injury for Ballop, one of them out of action, but their spirits weren't dampened. But 2 goals by the other side was already taking its toll. Half-time, 2-1 in favour of Carl Murray. Scott Wide, National EMTV Sports, Leigh.
Earlier, Zulu West sought out and got a lot of opportunities after a first half 1-0 lead against City United. But nearly every opportunity in the second half was squandered, each attempt falling short of solidifying their lead. Well into the second half, West scored again, putting the final nail on the coffin for City United. In a frustrating display of clumsy ball work on both sides, Zulu West managed to stay on top, maintaining the 2-0 lead until full-time. The Gordon's Police Barracks touch rugby competition in the national capital has gone into second round of preliminary finals. After a series games playoffs today, several teams have qualified for the second preliminary finals scheduled in the coming week.
Several teams have put up a strong competition for the grand final post here at the Gordon's Rugby League Oval in the nation's capital. In the first preliminary round of the 2016 Gordon Stars Rugby competition for the D-grade minor division, Texas Knights downplayed Sena Tigers by 16 points to 2. In the C-grade, 5 Mile Cowboys was too good to have the upper end by defending Bala Riders 6 points to 0. In another development of the B-grade division, the Freeway Rabbitohs was too strong to trash Anwar Roosters by 10 points to 8.
We have started the sports, basically wanted to keep the players fit. And we used to get this touch going because we knew that if we play tackle throughout the season, we need to keep fit, so we play touch. But nowadays it's gone out of, like all our previous pioneer guys have all grown old, so we, the young ones, are trying to revive the sport again to get the kids into touch football and then introduce them generally slowly into the tackle phase of the game.
This community-based touch rugby competition has the benefit of current Rabal Gure star forward Samuel Amari, David Mone, Port Moresby Vipers and many others. With its promising end, officials are appealing for more sponsors to assess this local competition. Eric Arupma, National EMTV Sports.
That wraps up Chukai Sports. Coming up next, the all-important weather.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, a shower or two for Port Moresby and Daru, and mostly fine for Kerema, Alatau and Popondetta. In the Momase region, a shower or two for Lae, and some showers for Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands, some showers for Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo Rabaul and Kimbe, and a shower or two for Buka. And in the Highlands region, shower or two, then morning fog for Goroka, Mendi, Wabeg and Kundiawa. That ends the news, sports and weather this Saturday, the 26th of March 2016. Pleasant viewing. Good night.